All right, I think we're live. Holy cow.
Amazing.
Welcome to Scorch the Fears with your host, Munif Saza and Love Francis. Actually, is it Love Saza or Love Francis?
It's Love Francis. It's Love Saza, but doing business as Love Francis. DBA.
Are you changing your name?
I am changing it, honey.
Oh,
I just
nice.
haven't truthfully started the process
The paperwork?
yet. Yeah. But that, intention is all that matters.
Yes,
right?
of course. So should I introduce you as Love Saza or Love Francis?
Yeah, that's cool.
Is that cool?
I think we're at that point.
I think we're at that point.
Yeah.
I think it's been enough time.
Yeah, we're seasoned enough.
We're seasoned enough.
Yeah.
Like
Let's
the
get in
food
the
we eat.
game. I think we can definitely do that.
Okay, so welcome to Scorch the Fears with your co-host and your host today, Munif Saza and Love Saza.
I like it. Sounds beautiful.
It sounds beautiful. Or is it Munif and Love
Munif
Saza?
and Love Saza.
Is it Mr. and Mrs. Saza?
I think that's like we can do that when we're like at a different level,
Oh, that's like when we're a little older?
Yeah, like Mr. and Mrs. Saza.
Wow.
When we're like receiving awards and stuff.
Awards.
Yeah.
Just being on this podcast
Is an award.
in itself.
So yes, we are Love and Munif Saza. Munif and Love Saza.
Look, we've got our favorite person here, Parisa. What is up, Parisa?
Hi.
Hello, Parisa.
Our gal.
Yes.
She's got a dope haircut now.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love Parisa. She's awesome. So the context today is Jonah asked us to host today's episode of Scorch the Fears.
Yes.
Sorry, honey, my leg's in your way.
Yeah, it's okay. Babe.
Today, Jonah asked us to. Jonah's a good friend of ours. We both met him separately, right? Like, I didn't meet him through you, and you didn't meet him through me.
No. He's. How do we know him?
I don't know how you know him. I know him because I met him.
Well, I mean, for most people, we pretty much know them. If they're in the real estate community, we know them.
Well, true, but I met Femi through you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's people I'm sure you met Noah through me. You know what I mean?
I guess officially, but I've known him.
But you've known him, yeah. Technically, I met you through Luciano because you were his friend.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I met Jonah at the triple digit flip.
Yeah, but in terms of how what's that channel that we met him through?
Oh, through Sub 2.
Through Sub 2.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yes.
That's how we met.
So just to give you context, Jonah's a friend of ours. He owns this podcast, and he asked me and Love to host today's episode and talk about marriage and business, because Love and I are not only business partners, but we're also married. And so we got married. Ooh, nice ring. Nice one.
It's actually his mom's ring that his dad gave her when they first got together, when they first got married.
Yeah,
it got passed down, and it's so special, and it means the world to me.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history on that ring.
Oh my gosh, so much, and it comes with the whole set. I don't know.
They didn't see it.
It's from Bangladesh. That's where Munif is from, but it comes with a necklace and earrings, and it's just so beautiful.
Thank you, honey. You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
so sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're good. So we wanted to do this episode, and we're really excited to do this episode because it's really to talk about how maybe we met. We can talk a little bit about how we met, and how we worked together. And Jonah actually gave us a list of questions we might answer, and that'd be really cool. But we met through our real estate community, the same community Jonah is a part of. It's called Sub 2. I wear the hat. I like to rep Sub 2. And we met through our mutual friend Luciana, who hosted a meetup that you didn't even want to go to. You were going to actually not attend the meetup, but one of our friends, Renee, called you. She was like, hey, come to the meetup. You ended up coming to the meetup. You met me there.
Yeah.
We met. We didn't really, I wouldn't say we hit it off.
No.
We just got to know each other, just exchanged a few words. But
I held your camera. If that's not hitting it off.
Exactly. I was gonna say that.
I don't know what else.
I document. So I document a lot of my, like talks, or if I go to a meetup and I speak and I have a camera, so I was like documenting it, and then you offered to hold it while I went up and talked.
Mm-hmm.
That was really sweet of you.
Yeah, and then you went to the bathroom, and I was like, this dude has been holding it for so long, and you were very like involved. I'm like, let me help this guy out. Let me help a pal out.
So ladies, if you want to find your husband, you need to offer strangers to hold their phone while they speak so that you can record them speaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's how she did it. That's how she landed me, and you can do it too. So you offered to hold my camera,
mm-hmm.
which is really sweet. We talked a little bit. I found out you were a transaction coordinator, which I thought was really cool because I do not like paperwork. Mm-hmm. It's not my strength, it's my weakness. And a transaction coordinator in real estate is somebody who handles, the paperwork of buying and selling real estate, make sure, it's compliance, make sure that the attorneys are reviewing the correct paperwork and they're not missing anything, because we all know that attorneys sometimes might make mistakes or,
So actually, it differs a little bit, the definition between like a traditional TC mm-hmm. and then like a creative TC, right?
Please tell us.
So with a traditional TC in the traditional sense, going through the open market, having a realtor, a TC is just going back and forth with like the paperwork, getting it signed and just sending it to the right people.
Right.
They're not involved with reading things, making sure things are correct. Like
that's not what a traditional.
That's not what a traditional.
Oh, I didn't know that. You do that. You're so good with it.
Yeah. So that's something people don't know, and I think it kind of got glamorized and sub to in the creative world, right? Where what we do is a little bit different, but there are times where I'm still like, it's not what I do. It's like,
so it's not really your job to double check the attorney.
Exactly. It's not. It's as a traditional TC, it's not. But I do those things just because, I want to be able to get things to the finish line and I want things to be done correctly. But that's, I guess, in real estate, right? That just goes to prove where it's like there can be so many people involved and things can still be missing, right? Things can still fall through the crack, and there's times where I still miss things, right? And I have a team and they even catch it and stuff. But
wow.
That's basically, the definition differs between a traditional TC and a creative TC.
Wow, you heard it here first. Okay, so a traditional TC does not double check things.
No,
but she does. So if you're looking for a transaction coordinator, she's your gal. Amazing people. Oh my gosh, Jonah's here. Oh my goodness, Jonah, we miss you, man.
Aww.
This podcast.
I didn't know he moved to Colorado.
He moved to Colorado?
Yeah, he moved to Colorado.
That's
from
awesome.
California. But okay, so in the sense you were going on about how we met.
So she's a
what
TC.
We do.
She's a TC. I do a little bit different things. I like find deals. I guess that's what I'm like a little. I'm like that squirrel in Ice Age that's looking for that big nut, and I just look for that big nut in deals. So I'm just constantly looking, constantly chasing that big nut everywhere I can, and that's what I do. And so when I met her, I was like, oh, that was really cool. You're a TC. And then we like met a couple times as friends, and then we.
That's actually, he was saying how I landed him by recording his content. He landed me by chasing after me after the meetup, and he was like, I need a TC. That's actually how you land.
Exactly.
TC gals, guys.
So guys, if you're looking to get married, what you got to do is you got to find out what the woman you're interested in does for a living, and you got to say, oh, that's exactly the profession I'm looking for in my life.
Even if you're a doctor and she does something completely different, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
just
right.
Say,
exactly.
I need this.
Let's say she does eyelashes.
Yeah.
Is that an S? esthetician.
Yeah.
And you gotta. But I've been looking for esthetician. My eyelashes have never been done before. I'm just really looking for somebody to do them.
I don't need them, but I just.
I would prefer to have one in my life.
Right.
I think that's what I said.
And even in that moment, though, right? It was the conversation, but we didn't even end up working together.
No.
In that time frame.
No, I couldn't afford you.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, she's got like really good prices. Good for her, not good for me. I don't make enough money in my business.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And we weren't doing creative deals because really
you were doing cash.
We were doing cash, so it's like I could do the TC for cash, which is really easy. Cash deals are like, we're gonna buy it for this much money, and then we're gonna pay you that much money.
Right.
It's very straightforward.
It's straightforward, yeah. I mean, but even with your cash deals, you've had to deal with some issues, right?
I've had issues.
Right. Yeah. So
we should have still hired a TC. In retrospect, and we had a TC. We actually had we worked with Katie.
You did.
Katie's awesome. We worked with her for a while. She was dope.
Yeah.
And then we started doing more creative deals, and she TCs all of our deals now.
Oh yeah, cash creative.
I got the husband discount. So now I'm like, honey, like we'll just pay you a discount for our deals, right, baby? And she's like, yeah, sure, fine,
no problem.
Yeah. So
no problem.
I just milk the husband discount. So she gives me a discount. So like guys, if she gives you a discount, be very grateful because I barely get a discount. I'm married. I'm married to her, and it's not free. You know what I mean? So if she's not doing TC for me for free, be happy to get a discount.
Yeah, and I think that's something I want to delve into as well in regards to where we were at in our businesses, because you said, you used to do a lot of only cash transactions and you've pivoted a lot since then. And that's kind of the beauty of this business where you can expand. There's so many things to tackle. There's so many things to accomplish. There's so many new avenues to take on and to learn. And even with me, with my TC stuff, right? When I first started, I was doing something completely different where I wasn't charging up front. I was charging in the end. And I had to change that model, right? I've had to change what I was doing. And even with that, I've had to expand and learn new things to be able to add on to my services. So I want to discuss that a little bit. I want to discuss that a little bit, but I think I want to first go into.
Ooh, we got the notes.
Yes. So, as you know, we are in the real estate field.
Yes. So the first note says introduce who you are and what you do. So is that what we're doing right now?
We did that, I think, right?
Okay.
So we're in real estate. I own a transactions coordinating company.
Yes.
You said you're like the squirrel in Ice Age. You kind of.
I chased the big nut.
You just chased the big nut.
What's so funny about that, honey? I don't understand.
There's absolutely nothing funny about that.
Why are you laughing?
It's just you're so funny. It's
Why?
Just the concepts,
Like, what do you mean?
You make me laugh.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You make me laugh.
Oh, I'm so happy.
So, what do you do? What do you do? Essentially, you chase that big nut.
Right. I do whatever it takes to get the nut. So, if that means find me the nut.
Now you're playing with my emotions. You're doing this on purpose, and I will not tolerate it. Putting an end to it.
So I find deals. I find deals, right? So how I find the deals, I can we talk to realtors. We talk to sellers, direct to sellers, even other wholesalers. We'll work with wholesalers and find their dead leads, convert their dead leads into deals. Or even just buy deals from wholesalers. And so it's two things, right? There are deals. I find deals and I find money. So I either work with people who have money or I work with people who can do operations and then I find the money. So I find the deals, fund the deals, but I don't do operations. So that means what do I not do? I don't like manage rehabs. So if there's a property that needs like to be renovated, I don't manage that. I'm not really good at that. If there's an Airbnb that needs to be ran or operated. I don't manage that. I'm not really good at that kind of stuff. I'm really good at finding deals. Like, for example, let's say there's a seller who's got a series of problems or a set of problems and they can't really sell their property, or maybe they want too much money for their property. I'm really good at turning that into a deal and then finding the people who will then turn around and either buy the deal from us or partner with us or work with us to turn that house into a cash flowing asset. That's literally what I do. So I find these deals, I deal source and I money source. So I find money for our deals. So I bring deals and money to the table, but then I need to work with people who are really good at doing the operations. When they have a deal and they have money from me, they get those things from me. I hand that off to them, and then they turn around and they hire a crew and they, work with realtors and they do all the things you need to do to make a deal happen.
That's amazing. And with that, it's kind of something that we've had to learn. It's like focus on your superpowers, right? Focus on your superpowers and what you're good at. He has these amazing ability to be able to master acquisitions in all sense of the word, right? In terms of acquiring deals, in terms of acquiring relationships, acquiring talent, acquiring, in regards to relationship partnerships that add to your superpowers. And for anyone starting out, that's something that I would highly recommend, right? It's just focus on what you're good at. And two truths can exist with that, because although I say that, and this is the beauty of even marriage, where with what we've had to do, because I own a transactions coordinating company and you have a wholesaling company, and you have partnerships with Airbnbs and stuff. And Noah, right? You and Noah acquire a lot of Airbnbs. Last year, you guys did or this year, actually, end of last year, beginning of this year, you guys have acquired over, I want to say 30 properties.
30 doors, yeah.
30 doors, right? Yeah. 22 of those doors, it's a multifamily. So
correct.
It's all one
20.
transaction.
So we've got 2 multifamily in there. One's 5 doors.
5. Yes, doors. You're right. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then we have 2 duplexes. So we have 2 of them that are 2 doors each.
In Sacramento, yeah.
So Sacramento's a duplex, and then the Baltimore one's a duplex.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's a lot of doors. I love that.
That's a lot. We love doors.
We love them. They help a lot.
They
open, they close.
Yes. When one closes,
another
2
one
more
open. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
snap
right there. Yeah. But with what we do in our partnership, there have been times where it's all about compromise, right? And working together. And there are times where I do things that are in my superpowers, and then you've had to do things not in your superpower to be able to get things to the finish line. And I think that's very important when you're working with your partner and you're building this legacy. And I want to kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So sometimes I think I'm trying to think of a time where I had to do something that's not really in my comfort zone to get a deal done.
So we have a couple Airbnbs together.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And with one of them, you've had to help.
I went to the store.
Yeah, when my health wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
And that's something you talk about all the time, right? You don't do operations.
I don't
do the setups. And even with that was a point in our relationship where we had to discuss it, and it did bring a point of conversation, right?
Yes.
Because it's this is so against what I do, and this is so against who I am.
Exactly, because I remember that. Yeah, I was because my strengths are bringing deals, bringing money, and then I'm done. I want to be able to hand that to somebody and then never hear about it, and then that makes money. That's because imagine and the way I think about it is imagine if I brought a deal but half the money, we wouldn't actually be able to do anything if there's half the money for the deal, or half of a deal, which doesn't make sense too much, right? There's either a deal or there's not, or so a really shitty deal.
Deal or no deal.
deal or no deal. Or like if I bought a really shitty deal that didn't make sense, it's like, no, we're not doing it, right? So I've always seen it as like, all right, I'll bring a good deal and I'll bring all the money we need and some, and then I don't want to deal with it. And typically, you know, it can be like in a business partner relationship, I can usually go, not my problem, right? Like say for example, like one of my partner, I handed off to operations, and they're like, oh my gosh, like this broke, and we got to go get somebody to fix it or whatever. I can easily go, well, cool, good luck with that, not my problem, because that's not my job. That's not my role or responsibility.
And I think truthfully that doesn't exist, because in every single one of your partnerships, you've still had to do things.
That's true.
You didn't want to, or it's not in your wheelhouse. And I think that's the beauty of partnerships as well.
Exactly. So that's true. Every single one of my partnerships, I've had to go past my skill,
and vice versa.
But exactly, because I've had my operations guys bring deals,
right,
and money. So,
and even in that sense, right, and like what we do, there have been times where I've brought deals to the
and
table,
you've brought money. The
right?
one in Phoenix right now, you brought that. The
one
we're buying right now with Derek, and our lender for our 5 unit, you brought that lender.
Yeah, and
there's one time I went to Target to buy furniture for our Airbnb.
Yeah.
So.
And you did amazing.
Oh, thank you.
You did so great.
I don't like going to Target.
Or
any store to buy anything. I had to go to Costco too.
You did. You went to Target. You went to Walmart and Costco. I don't think you went to Target.
I spent Well, we went together.
We went together. Yeah.
I remember you were in the parking lot waiting in the car. You weren't feeling well, and then I was shopping for like the stuff in Walmart, and then one of our properties was closing. Killeen was closing, and the escrow officer messed up, and she basically paid the taxes for the house.
Yeah,
when it was already paid. The taxes had already been paid for the year, and then she took the money that we were going to give the seller, and she took like 4,000 of it, and she overnighted a check to the local government for taxes, but the seller had already paid the taxes. So when he saw his wire, he was like $4,000 short, and he was freaking out. And this is like, we're like, the transaction's done, everything's good. Seller gets $4,000 less than what he was promised.
Yeah.
He starts freaking out. We start freaking out. We're like, whoa, we paid you. Call the escrow officer, and we're like, hey, what's going on? She tells us, she was pretty much like, hey, I actually didn't do anything wrong. I'm legally required to pay the taxes.
Right.
And we had to educate her that, hey, the taxes have been paid. Like, look at the county records. They've been paid. We got it sorted, but we got it sorted while I was in Walmart. So I literally was on the phone circling Walmart, getting all this figured out while I was pushing this empty cart. And after that was all resolved, I started getting the shopping items. And you were like in the car for what, like 2.5 hours?
It was like less than that. I just want to post this really fast. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, that's a good photo.
Yeah, I was gonna delete it because
you didn't like it.
No.
Here, all right. Well, you want to. So the way to do it, honey. The way to do it is we look at the camera.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, it's
that's
so
good. That's a good photo.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's cute.
But
so yes, exactly.
I think that's being an entrepreneur. You have to kind of sometimes wear multiple hats, right? It's not. It differs than your traditional W-2 where you go in and you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're signing up for. You can literally say that's not my job. That's not what I do, right? But I think in this world, and I think we've learned more from even being together is that sometimes you just have to do the things you don't even want to do.
I do things I don't want to do every single day.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to learning how to enjoy the things you don't.
I agree with that, and that's what I wanted to say as well. Yeah, it's finding joy in that, because that at the end of the day, it helps you get to that end goal, right?
Yeah, it does. So what else we got? What else we got on the docket? Should I pull my phone up?
You should, yeah. So
oh, you got it.
So how do our businesses complement each other?
Oh, that's easy. So I do the not paperwork things. My business does the not paperwork things, and then her business does the paperwork things. That's an easy question, Jonah. Gotcha on that one.
Okay, and then that's good. And like truthfully, even in my business, you yourself have just complimented it from the very first time.
Me?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, what have I done?
Since we first even met, like you came in and you helped find like an engineer to like help build my systems, and like you really were an integral part of that, and like I'm so grateful for that. And that's when I'm like, man, this guy is amazing.
Oh, that's right, your backend systems.
Yeah, my backend systems. Yeah, to have everything like automated and streamlined. You really came in clutch with that.
We you basically, she uses a platform called Open to Close. And how do you like the platform? Is it good?
I love it. Truthfully, I don't use it that much. My team does, but it helps my client with onboarding them. It helps my team with communicating, getting updates. It's been a life changer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I helped her hire somebody to set up all the processes,
and he's amazing. He's really great.
Shout out to Tulani.
Yeah. So
what's next?
How did both of our businesses change after we got married?
I don't think much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I guess, actually, for her, I'm her only client that doesn't use her portal or like, email. I just tell her and just hope she remembers.
Yeah.
And that's like not a good way to do it. Like I'll just like tell you in passing, like, oh, hey honey, like you need to call John. Like we just got to deal with him. Like I'll just text you his number. By the way, like please like handle it. Thanks. Bye. And like that's.
And I think we're even working on that, right? We're working on ways to improve and better systemize that, because even in my business, one like a big way my business has changed primarily is that I used to be way more hands-on. I used to work all day.
Like 16 hours a day.
Oh my gosh,
it was crazy. I remember when we started dating, you were working literally, you wake up at like 5 a.m. and be just like working and then go to bed at midnight. I remember like being like going to bed at like 10 o'clock and I'd be like, are you like coming to bed? Like, I'm going to work for like a few hours.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did it.
I don't know. And then I think it's also I had other responsibilities like my siblings as well. So I just had to really structure my days in a different way. And it's like completely different now.
Yeah.
And that's how it's changed for me primarily, is that I'm not so much as involved. And I even want to, you guys sneeze?
No, I was yawning.
Oh.
I passed my bedtime. It's past my bedtime. Guys, it's East Coast time here.
Honey, it's only 8:38. It's not new. You want coffee?
No, because I woke up at 4 this morning and then I went to bed at like 1. So I'm sleeping. If we didn't have this podcast, I would have been in bed by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that other night, like 2 nights ago, I went to bed at like 7:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah. I love sleep. I interrupted you.
I don't even know. But yeah, the business changes. The business changes as we progress, and even what you were doing before your business has changed. But I don't think it's been necessarily impacted by us getting married.
I think.
I think we're just doing more. We're just doing more.
We can do more of what we do. Like for example, like I raised more money than I've ever raised in my life, and then she was able to make it possible because she coordinated, organized, and did the logistics for all of our investors for like a $1.5 million raise. And we raised $50,000 at a time. So you can do the math there. And that was like, I remember that scheduling, like we literally scheduled like 20 or 30 people in 10-minute Zooms back to back. And she coordinated all of it, like, and filled up my entire Saturday, my entire Sunday, from morning to evening with like small bathroom breaks in between.
Yeah.
I just remember like, I'm like, I got this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like all I had to do was just show up.
Yeah.
And just be on the Zoom, and then everyone would flow through.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I like 10 minutes to explain the project,
Mm-hmm.
get the commitment, and then tell them how to, do the paperwork and sign up.
Mm-hmm.
But all the back end, she and Noah
Yeah.
just really handle that.
Yeah.
And that's something that like I've never, been able to do by myself.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun. That was a memory.
That was a memory. Yeah. I remember we were in the Phoenix Airbnb Catalina.
Yeah.
And I just sat up at like the table.
Yeah.
And then, it was just like literally morning to night. And I just remember being like, I just felt like a badass though.
Yeah. No, it is a badass feeling. That was cool.
That was fun. You're a badass though.
Oh,
thanks for doing that.
Thanks, honey. You are too. What do you think, in your opinion, honey, when you look at couples that you look up to, like what are components or traits that make them, a successful power couple?
So I got two off the top of my head,
mm-hmm.
and in no particular order. Actually, I'll do it in my favorite order. First is Pace and Laura, my favorite power couple, Pace and Laura. My second favorite power couple is Alex Hormozi and Layla Hormozi. Alex and Layla. I don't know them personally. I know Pace and Laura. I don't know Alex and Layla personally, but we like had a Zoom with Layla, and she's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite aspects of them are probably they really understand the other person and like let that person like exist like as they are. That's something I really noticed that they do. Like, they really understand the quirks and like how the other person processes things in life, and they completely accept that, and they actually accommodate that.
Yeah.
And they both do that really well.
Yeah, I agree.
What about
They're
you?
Amazing. I think what makes a successful power couple is, to your point, of couples who make each other feel seen, heard, and valued, and give that space to one another to thrive and to be who they are, and to encourage and support that. Because, a lot of times we hear, and it's typically when couples aren't in the same industry, right? Where there's always this conflict, or there's always this friction where, and I it's not to like, I guess, anyone's fault. It's like, it's difficult to be able to see from someone's lens if you don't do that thing every day. But with both of the power couples you mentioned, they work within the same umbrella, like they see each other, and they're able to see what that other person does. And I guess even in a lot of relationships where, maybe the husband is working in real estate and the wife is not, they're still very successful couples who
all the time.
Yeah, encourage each other and feel seen and feel appreciated and push each other. But I think that's the core of it all, is just like being with someone who really sees you, understands you, encourages you, wants you to thrive, and wants you to do your best. Those are the traits that I look up to, and I try to embody, and in terms of just as a person, but like especially with you, like I always want you to feel seen, heard, valued, respected, and that's very important to me.
That's so sweet. And I know when we first started dating, that was like a core value for you. Like that's something we talked about. Like for you, it was, you want a non-negotiable for you in a relationship is to feel valued, feel seen, feel heard. And that's something I've always strived to give you. Not that I always succeed, but it's been something I strive for. And it's interesting because I do feel those things from you, but it's interesting because I'm not sure if I necessarily value them as much as you do, but it's interesting. So let me give you an example of like a time where, like moments where I feel very safe in the relationship, very good. And it's moments where like, say I want to play hooky a little bit. I'm like, maybe I have some work to do. I'm like, I want to play computer games. I want to play my PlayStation. I'm like, yeah, I got some stuff, but I might play a couple hours of video games and stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
You have never given me shit for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually, she has encouraged that. Like, hey, good for you, honey. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you enjoyed that. And so for that, like things like that, instead of feeling like shame or guilty for decompressing, I feel validated. I feel like, oh, cool, like nice. I feel free.
Mm-hmm.
I have that freedom, and maybe now that I'm articulating it, maybe you could even say I'm feeling seen.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
feeling
exactly
seen
what
and
I was
heard.
thinking. Yeah.
But for me, that's not how I process it. I'm not processing it as like, oh, she sees me because I'm like she like playing games or whatever, and she's not like, hey, that's lame, that's silly. That like doesn't process in my mind as being seen or heard. It processes in my mind as being free, like not stifled.
I think for me, because that's also been a non-negotiable, is that freedom.
Yeah.
But I think that's a byproduct of all of those traits. You know, when you feel seen, when you feel heard, when you feel valued, there is that sense of freedom that comes from that.
I feel unstifled in a relationship. I feel like I can be myself. I can make the kind of jokes I want to make. I can literally do whatever I want to do. And I think that's a big, that's something I tell a lot of people is when you find the right person, you get to actually be more of yourself.
Yeah.
Because they help bring that out of you.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
That's beautiful. What a word. Ditto. And you do an amazing job at making me feel seen, heard, and valued, baby.
Thank you. Yeah, I got prescription glasses to help you feel seen.
Me too. I now wear
actually true story. She would never. She was like anti-glasses. Like swear to God, anti-glasses. But like we'll be watching like Game of Thrones or something, and she'd be like anytime she'd be like, hey, can you turn the subtitles?
Why you tell my business out like this, huh?
Wow. And it took me. Well, how long did it take me to convince you to get glasses? 3 months. 4 months. Every day, I'd be like, honey, please stop squinting at the. And then, I finally convinced her to go get glasses at Costco. And now somebody wears their glasses when we watch TV.
I do. Well, it's because, you know the reason behind that, right? The reason behind why I have to now wear glasses when I'm watching something is because I started the process of already wearing glasses. So like my eyesight has weakened even more. That's the real reason, in case you were wondering. Interesting, huh? These are interesting.
Oh, we're getting spam here. Here, look, what we do. Block user. Boom.
Gone. Amazing. Parisa said, I have a question for you.
Oh, what's up, Parisa?
What's your question, girl? What's your question? We might have an answer. Or we might not.
She might be. She might.
Can you see who is viewing it?
No, it's anonymous.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. What up, peeps?
Yeah, we got some live viewers right now.
That's cool. Yeah.
What's the next question?
How does one lead, baby?
I think it depends on the context, because you lead in some things and I lead in some things.
Yeah. Give me more.
So, like, for example, if like things need to get done, especially like around the house, you definitely take charge. You're like, hey, honey, this needs to get done. We need to do this, which is really good because I struggle with those things. Side story: when I first moved to Phoenix, I was living outside of a suitcase for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I would have actually stayed the entire year in Phoenix living out of a suitcase.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's easy. Like all my clothes are in that box. And then like I wash them and I fold them, I put them back in the suitcase, I can zip it up.
Mhm.
But I started dating her, and she actually bought me drawers in a closet, like one of those Amazon closets to put bless you,
Yes.
to put clothes into.
We had an IKEA date. We went to IKEA and bought all the things.
That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always tell her she turned my house into a home. So she's a really good homemaker. So like homemaking, she leads. And me, I probably lead in like direction for finances.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, let's do this with our finances. Hey, let's like spend money here. Let's not spend money here. Let's focus our businesses here. Let's not focus our businesses here.
I would say we both do that.
But that's what I was gonna say, because we both contribute.
Yeah.
We contribute because it's not like, hey, let's do this. Cool. Because like, even on the homemaking front, I have a lot of input on how things go too. I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. Let's do this. And so it's interesting because I think the leading is pretty fluid.
Yeah.
It might be like 60-40
Yeah.
on some things, but it's not like.
It's not like 100%.
No, it's not like that. We don't do that unless like. I think the only time it's 100% leading on something is literally like the shit we're masters at. Like for paperwork, like I never, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, she's got it. And if you're ever like, hey, we got to do it this way, I'm like, oh, we're doing it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like for sales and negotiations, I'm like, we're gonna do this. And we're doing it. Like it's not like you know what I mean? It's not. Now, of course, there are times where we even paperwork, we'll still discuss, because I remember I'll be like, hey, like this clause, like what if we did it this way? And you're really receptive to that. And even in negotiations, you might be like, well, what if you actually just said this to your seller? Actually, let me try that.
Yeah.
So even then, in those cases, it's never really.
It's very fluid. Yeah.
It's pretty fluid.
I like that.
Yeah, I just think it's silly to have like a person who is quote unquote leading at all times just because. I think that's kind of silly. I think what we do is we make decisions together.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily make decisions together on every single decision, just the big ones. Like, for example, if you wanted to get things like, like for the house, you just buy them. And it just gets done. And if I want to like buy things or computer equipment or whatever, I just buy them, right? But like, we just kind of have a pulse before we make like big purchases.
Yeah.
We're just like, hey, like, whatever. Or like if we're gonna do like a new business venture, we always talk about it.
We do, yeah. There have been times where you were presented an opportunity and I'm like, wait, like this doesn't actually sync with who you are, right?
Oh, that was really good. That was really good, because I would have jumped on it.
You were so for it, and I'm like, this
that was really
something
smart.
in it just wasn't sitting right in my spirit.
Yes, that was really smart. I'm glad I didn't take that opportunity.
Yeah,
that was an opportunity in disguise.
Both ways, where there have been times where you come in and you're like, actually, this partnership doesn't fit you. Like this doesn't make sense. You can do so much more in something different, and you've been that voice of reason. So I think the question of how does one lead, I think one leads by not being forceful. I think one leads by also being receptive.
Yes. Yeah.
I think those are important components to like having like a good leader, right? And we're learning every day too in our own personal businesses together, but also in our prospective businesses. I think with leading, it's just a continuous journey.
Yeah, I think so too. I think like also like we both have very similar styles of leadership, because at least, me as a person, and I can say this for the both of us, we're very involved leaders. We're not like, we've all met leaders who are like, my way or the highway. There's like a lot of ego.
Yeah,
a lot of defensiveness. Like we literally don't bring ego into our conversations. We've had really tough conversations before with like literally no ego.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool because we're able to both step out of our shoes
Mm-hmm.
and look at the bigger picture and just talk about something without getting personally
Butthurt,
butthurt
yeah,
about stuff.
taking it personal, yeah.
And that way we feel like we can really make strong decisions. For example,
Mm-hmm.
moving here to Virginia, we literally we were like kind of going back and forth, and we were like, wait a minute, let's make a T-chart of pros and cons of staying.
We
versus
wheeled
moving.
in our little whiteboard,
Right.
our big whiteboard.
It was that one actually.
Yeah.
It's like right
Mhm.
there, and we made a giant T, and we're like pros, cons, and moving, pros, cons of staying.
Mm-hmm.
We sat there for 2 fucking hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can say fuck on YouTube, but we stayed there for 2 fucking hours
Mm-hmm.
and like wrote all the pros, all the cons, all the pros, all the cons. And then it was like pretty obvious. We were like, okay, we should move. Like
It makes more sense.
It was like,
yeah.
we were like, okay, like here's the facts.
Yeah.
Like we both made that together.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really like disagree with the facts. It's like, hey, well, this is a con.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. This is a pro. Yeah, that's a pro. Okay. This is a con. Yeah, that's a con. And then after we see like 50 cons and like, for whatever, one, and then like 30 cons for the other, and then 100 pros, and 20 pros, we're like, okay, we should move. And then we were like smart. We were like, how do we mitigate the cons of moving? Because we're like, if we're gonna move, how do we like make the cons less worse?
Yeah. How do we turn them into a pro?
We
right?
did that,
yeah.
which is really cool. We're like, oh, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna and that was really cool. And that's interesting because we made a big decision very decisively, very quickly, and then we both felt good about it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Well, that's also something that I think you helped me with in the beginning, because from the beginning you've always said, oh, like I'm very decisive, I make decisions fast.
That's true.
You've always said that, and you've proved that, and I think that has helped me in so many ways too, and that's something else I'm grateful for, because that's how you lead too, where it's like you are decisive, but like you're not forcing your decisiveness.
No, I don't like to force. I don't like to force my decision on people.
Yeah,
I just like making the decision, even if it's not the decision I want.
Right. And I really like that. And it creates this environment where it just kind of makes things flow, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm also not attached to a lot of things.
I love that
concept.
about you.
So
I freaking love that
when
about
you make these decisions, as long as it's logical and makes sense, like there's no really fight back. There's no pushback to that.
You're really,
we complement each other.
I think so too. You're really good at like not being attached to a specific outcome.
Yeah.
You're really outcome independent. Like whether it's like where you're living, what you're doing that day, a deal. Oh my gosh, she is. I'm so outcome dependent.
Yeah.
On deals. Oh my god, I'm like, oh, we got a deal. All right, we got to close escrow. All right, wait, why is the seller not responding? Hey, did the seller sign? Like, did the seller sign? How come they haven't signed the addendum? What's going on?
And that stresses me out.
Oh my god,
that stresses me out. Continue though.
Oh my god, I know I'm stressed out. I get stressed out because like I'm in acquisitions. Right?
Yeah, and I understand that.
On my side, like we get paid. I put bread on the table. I feed my family when the deal is done. So any little thing that can mess up the deal is like I'm on like high alert, hair trigger response, like anything for a deal. I'm very protective of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I know obviously you don't want to lose deals for your clients, but it is different when you get paid first, regardless of the deal going through. You got paid.
Well, I used to not.
I know, and that would suck.
Right, but like, so that's the thing that I've realized as well in that, and I think I've always been this way, but like I used to like drop things at any person's like demand of like, oh, I need this sent out now. Oh my gosh, sellers are anxious now. Like, and I've been doing this. I've closed so many transactions for investors. I've helped so many people with deals where I've realized this trait, this theme of if a deal is not going to go through, it's that urgency rarely has anything to do with it. You know what I mean? it has to do with like most times, like, and you're so great at it, and like a lot of times, even with you, because you built such great rapport with sellers, and you still get anxious about it, but like I've seen it so many times where like that, like all of that outside anxiousness has nothing to do with whether a deal gets to the finish line.
Yeah, it's so true. And you know, I mean,
because it's like the opposite too, where like again, right in the beginning, I didn't get paid until the very end, and 70% of the time people wouldn't even close their deals, and I've done everything of like calling within 20 minutes, this and that, and it still doesn't go through, right? And again, it's truthfully based on that rapport, and just if a seller doesn't want to sign to you, they don't want to get to the finish line, and a lot of times they'll even do everything in the beginning, and then I'm like, oh, I changed my mind. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think there's like there are components of like this needs to be done this way in order for the deal to get to the finish line.
Correct. It's interesting though, right? So like I like having my bases covered. So like for example, if we have a deal that's signed but we didn't send earnest money, that deal is not legally binding. So if the seller decides to back out of that deal and we never send earnest money, then we actually can't proceed with litigation to go after them for non-performance, failure to perform on the contract that they signed on. So like that earnest money is something I'm a stickler on. Like, hey, did we send earnest money? Did we get the wire instructions? Those are things that to me are time sensitive because, you know, that legitimizes the contract. Yet, has it ever happened where we lost a deal because we didn't send DMD on time? No, that's never happened.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 out of 100 might happen.
Yeah.
But is it worth stressing every deal? That's
the thing where that stresses me out, where it's like I can't stress out about it. I can't.
So, you know, it's a little different, right? Like we don't get paid on acquisitions until the deal is done and everyone got paid. And so we're stressed until the closing date and the money's been transferred and the checks got signed. You're stressed because we're stressed.
Yeah.
But like if we weren't pushing you, it'd probably be still fine. You'd probably get it done. But the stress of a lot of the risk and stress is mitigated because if you get paid up front no matter what.
Well, with your deals, I don't get paid up front.
That's true.
You know, so.
Well, no, we do. We pay you up front half because we get a discount because we're married.
No, so.
Oh, you don't actually charge us till closing?
I don't charge you till closing.
No,
but we can change it. Like it's not necessary, and I. You know, it's a perk. That's a perks of being married to a TC.
See, this is why I married her. So yeah, that's.
No, that's why you married me.
I thought you let that slide. I married her because I love her.
Okay, well.
And she does my paperwork.
Only because I do this paperwork. Let's get that straight.
No, I love her. She's amazing.
So this other question: how do you, in regards to stress, in regards to anxiousness, and that's actually I'm so passionate about this that like our energy is so important. Yeah. You know, and how we talk to each other and how we talk to our loved ones and how we talk to the world. Like I'm such a stickler on that. Yeah. So even like with the clients I bring on, like I'm very adamant about the energy that truthfully like I work with. And
if somebody says something, write something in an email that she doesn't like. She'll like, hey, I don't like this person.
Literally, I'm not working with like, and that's because it's so important to me, you know, like I want to be in a state of flow. I want to get the job done and I want to do the best job, but I don't like the anxiousness from people. I really don't.
People me?
As a concept.
So how's my anxiousness been?
It's gotten way better, baby. It's gotten way better.
I've been learning.
Yeah, it's gotten way better.
I literally just like, I might ask once, and then you'll just be like, I'm on it, and then I'll just leave it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really I think like the I need to still ask once though.
Yeah.
I'll ask once, and then she'll be like, I'm on it. And then we'll be like, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it.
How do you separate business from personal problems?
My business problems are personal. What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
I don't think like we don't really deal with that. Truthfully, we don't. Like, when is it time? And like again, right? We're so unattached. We respect each other. If we go through problems, that's
Right.
just a byproduct of being in a relationship. And you know, when you're working with someone as well.
Right.
But I think our businesses, other than the Airbnbs and like the wrap stuff, and our prospective businesses don't really like coincide where like we're up in each other's businesses.
No. I think in the beginning when I was like, did you talk to my seller yet?
Mhm.
Did they sign? Tell me they signed. Why didn't they sign? What do you mean you're going to talk to them tomorrow?
Mhm.
What do you mean you emailed them and they responded and they said they're going to talk tomorrow? Why isn't it done tonight?
Mhm.
That was like in the beginning.
Mhm.
But like, you know, I think you were very clear about like, you're really good about going like, hey, look, like I do this, like relax. And I saw you perform consistently without missing, which made me relax more to the point we're at now where it's like, you got it. Like,
Let a player perform.
Yeah, you got it. So yeah, we're not really in each other's business like that.
But like if we were to go through like if we're having issues in our, you know, interpersonal relationship, like how do we not let the conflict affect each other or like our business?
It doesn't though, because I remember once like we were early on dating and like I did something, you're upset with it, but then you were like I need some space for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and then you took that space to like work on one of my deals. So it's like I don't think it like affects.
I don't even remember this.
Yeah.
This is funny. Yeah, it doesn't like. I'm not someone who like won't do work.
Yeah.
Or like
Right.
like if we're around people like have like major attitude, and you're not that way either.
No,
you know,
no,
like we
no.
don't let that. And I think it's very important of like which we go through personally. Like we don't let it go outside.
No, exactly.
You know?
If I'm upset with let's say I'm upset with Bob, but I like have a deal with Bob. I gotta talk to Bob's seller. I'm not gonna not like if me and Bob had beef and he's like, bro, your mama's so fat.
Yeah.
I'm like, Bob, get out of here, man.
Yeah.
I ain't cool with that joke, man. We're not cool right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go not talk to Bob's seller.
Right.
I'm mad at Bob.
Or if you do talk to Bob's seller, you're not gonna be like that Bob.
No.
You know, oh my gosh, that Bob.
I think it's because we're professionals.
Oh.
We are professionals, so we don't let that bleed in.
No. Okay, so what are your greatest fears when starting? And what are your greatest fears now?
My greatest fears when starting was talking to sellers, which is funny because that's like what I like made that my primary means of income. My greatest fear now, like in business, it's not getting it, like not like, you know, like not getting it.
Tell me more. What does that mean?
Like there's that, like right now my business is like right here, and then I need a breakthrough to get right here, like, and then you know, after I get there, I might have another breakthrough to get here.
Oh, you feel like you're gonna hit a plateau and like
and then
not
that's
overcome that.
Yeah, exactly. Like not getting it. What about you?
Okay, follow-up question.
Okay.
How do you feel like you've overcome the talking to sellers? So for people who are starting out, who are going to watch this later on, and that's their biggest fear because they're in that same position now. How are you able to overcome that fear?
Oh, you just do it. Not like you just do nothing but that thing.
And that makes you the most scared.
Yeah, because like if I'm afraid of porcupines, and then I go and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to Africa and just like go to the porcupine den and like camp with the porcupines, live with the porcupines, eat with the porcupines, you will be terrified and you will be under a lot of stress, and it will shock your nervous system and your body, which it did mine. And yet, after you survive it, you will not be afraid of porcupines anymore.
I love that. And how do you feel like you're going to overcome your fear of being able to hit that next level?
Oh, just never quitting.
I like that. That's what I was going to say. And just surrounding yourself with people who are doing dope stuff, you know, like continuously inspire you.
Yeah.
You can't lose if you don't quit.
Can't lose if you don't quit. So, honey, how about you? What are your fears?
My biggest fear in the beginning of starting a TC company was when I was first doing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do I do all the things? Like, I was scared to even like go over contracts, babe, you know? And again, to your point, I just started to do it for free over and over.
You did it for free for people?
I did it. Yeah, in the beginning, baby. I was doing everything for free.
I talked to sellers for free.
Yeah, where deals wouldn't close. Or I guess not for free, but I would not get paid until the end. And majority of those deals didn't close. So
was it thanks to you they didn't close, or was it thanks to the seller or the buyer?
It was the client. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
It wasn't like you're like,
no.
Oh, I don't know how to read this contract.
Oh, no. It was like not finding a buyer or liens came up unannounced and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. You don't miss.
No. But in the beginning, I wasn't as confident. In the beginning, there were a lot of things I didn't know, but you know, and that's that fear that came out, but I just kept doing it. I kept understanding like people's fears and like being able to come up with rebuttals or third-party stories, you know. And you know, as you do more, you create more third-party stories, right? And you add it to your box of third-party stories. So that's what I did. And I'm here now, and it's like I can do it in my sleep.
What's your greatest fear now?
My greatest fear now, truthfully, is not removing myself from my business.
Ooh,
that's my greatest fear. Of not completely removing myself.
That's a good
like
fear.
As you know, we're growing and as we're doing other things, it's like we only have so much time, and we talk about this all the time, right? It's like you don't want your focus to be on so many things, and that's how I sometimes feel, where it's like I am focused on so many things where it's not going to be fulfilling long term.
No. Well, that's a good fear. That's a strong fear. That's a good one. That's the chef's kiss of fears. I love that one.
But then also I have like thoughts of like, you know what? Like I'm gonna attach if it becomes to that point where like I can't remove myself, I'm just gonna end this. And I'll be okay. Yeah. I'll just do your TC work by myself, and like that'll be okay. You know?
Please still do ours.
Yeah, I'll still do.
I'm gonna make a proposition.
Yeah.
I know we're not finished.
Mm-hmm.
I am very sleepy.
Yeah.
Past my bedtime.
Uh-huh.
If enough people want a part 2, we'll do a part 2 and we'll finish the questions.
Yeah.
It's been an hour. This podcast is typically for an hour.
Yeah.
Munif is very sleepy. He's a sleepy boy.
We're going to end it with one final question.
Oh, wow.
If you can go back to Munif when starting in real estate, what would you tell your old self knowing what you know now?
Bro, don't quit, bro. What you doing? Go talk to those sellers, bro. That's it.
Okay.
But it's what I did. So it's like me like telling my past self, I know he did it because I'm right here sitting in the seat.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
So like think of like your future self talking to you now. What would he or she say to you? Just imagine that. And then go do those things. And then you get to be that future self. Because I'm the future self of my past self being scared and still talking to sellers. So I'm very proud of him. He did really good.
That's beautiful.
What about you?
It's beautiful. Same thing. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Guys, you heard it here first. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
that is another episode of Scorch the Fears
Yeah.
podcast with your hosts today, Munif and Love Saza. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you, Jonah, for letting us use your podcast.
Mhm.
You're awesome. Can't wait to hang out with you. Love you.
Thank you, Jonah. Bye.
Bye, guys.